to the other ambassadors. I hope that, if not, I have maybe to follow up with them, that they will join, because I think it's important that we meet from time to time. I get information via WhatsApp from Wawa or from GASP or even for Health and Wealth. But it would be nice if more ambassadors would join. I understand if not always it's possible, but let's see. So Jane, how's Jane doing? I think she's very happy at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, she's very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing well.
And she's doing well?
Yes.
No nausea and such kind of things?
Yeah.
So we will have a little Jane or a little James, who knows?
Yes.
I'm curious, what will be the name then? Yeah, here's Hieronymus. Hi, Hieronymus.
Hi, Manuela.
Nice to have you here. Yeah.
Nice to meet you again.
So you had also exciting times at Health and Wealth, by the way. Yeah. I have seen a lot of pictures from Cleophas on the biogas training. So there was a training running, James, at Health and Wealth, done by Don Bosco in Kenya. Yes. Training, I think 11 people from GASP and from Health and Wealth on how to build biogas plants. And 2 biogas plants have been finished. Not sure if they are working already or if there's some time needed to, I don't know what, to try the building and before you can use it. But it is really good to see what's happening. Then what is also ongoing, a board member of Boehringer Ingelheim will come in October and also stay a few days at GASP and Health and Wealth, which hopefully will give us a push. So she's a new board member from our company. So she will be announced officially in December only. But her biggest wish was to go to the communities and to see what we are doing, which is then hopefully helping us also with a budget next year to get a little bit more of budget so that I can help you guys to grow your centers and whatever is needed. Yeah. And then we have also this big project by Marcos Raivio, which has been started. A few people from each SCN participant have been selected to become Culture House ambassadors, and they are participating in trainings. Not sure if someone of you is part of it. Maybe. So there was an official nomination process done by Marcus, our social entrepreneur. And now the first online trainings will start on how to build a cultural house. And Marcus will also be in Kenya in November and then do an on-site training where all the ambassadors for this cultural house will come together. So probably you are aware of it, but I'm not so sure if you in person are the one or if maybe someone else of your colleagues, of your community members will do that. Yeah, this is what's happening at Wawa. We have also, Marceline, how are you? Nice to have you with us. You're still mute. We can't hear you. Now maybe it works. No, not yet. Maybe you try again. It seems you can hear us at least, which is already good. No, not yet. Try it again, Marceline, or say something. Maybe we can check. So you can hear us, right, Marceline? But we can't hear you. Irene is also coming. So my worries from the beginning, James, are coming down. We have more and more ambassadors arriving, which is perfect. I had some worries that we were just a few people, but Irene is here. Hi, Irene.
Hi.
Nice to have you. And Marceline, you are frozen Let's see how things are doing. I'm recording the session, by the way, so then I can send it to everyone who has not time today to join. But that's great. Yeah, I was just summarizing what's happening in the different locations. So, for example, at Corehouse and Wells, we have a huge biogas plant training that has come to an end, where now people from the communities know how to do biogas plants. We had mentioned the training about the cultural houses, which our social entrepreneur Marcos Raivio is doing now. And some of you community members in your NGO should be also part of it, at least from Positive Exposure, Corehouse and Wells and GASP. And then they will definitely also, in a second phase, we will involve all the other NGOs as well. I mentioned the board member visit from Boehringer Ingelheim. So we have, Boehringer Ingelheim visits 50,000 people, has 5 people in the board who are making the main decisions, and one team member, one board member, one future board member will come to Kenya and stay with GASP and Corehouse and Wells to understand the system change network. And we hope that this will give us a big push in terms of financial support from the board, but hopefully also get her emotional buy-in, which would be even more important, so that she can also take some decisions to continue this work that we are doing. And so having her will be fantastic. I'm pretty sure at Corehouse and Wells and GASP you will make all possible. So she wants to work hands-on with you. So not these big celebrations, but more really being with the people and working with the people to understand how you live, what people do, what are the projects, and hopefully when she helps, this will also be good. At Wawa, we could inaugurate and build a first boat. We had a training on boat making, which should become also an income source for the fishermen and fisherwomen who normally sell sex for fish, to avoid that. And I have now also our colleagues from UK. They're very much interested to take over a kind of mentorship for Wawa. So at many places, things are happening. But Irene and Marceline, maybe you can also share what's happening on your side. Irene, what are the latest developments there?
Hi everyone. At our side, the second, like the first half of the year, we were fully focused on developing our other center in Machakos, and I think from June to up to now, that's like mainly where we've concentrated our efforts on, and it's fully up and running with our pigs, and we've also ventured into farming. We've done a lot of farming, like vegetables and also fruits. We have oranges, mangoes, and all that. So it's actually very green, and it's not like how it was very dry and So we've done a lot there, and we are also planning our graduation for our class in Mukuru and our class in Machakos. So that's what we are focusing on. The trainings in Machakos have also been very, very wonderful. We have a huge class there. People have been like coming from everywhere, from all around. I think when we set up, it's like everyone wanted to see what is actually going on there, and they've loved our and
Wow,
it's been
great. So please make sure that we get some pictures as well. Yeah, what you are doing in Machakos would be very interesting, and of course also in Mukuru. I think in our next system changer network that we will run together in general, we should also discuss, especially with Ms. Mukuru, if we set up a second training for biogas plants. I can imagine in Machakos we have a lot of cattle cows as well, chicken, so that maybe also this energy giving biogas could be helpful. So we should take that up. Yeah, definitely. Marceline, I'm not sure if you are able now to speak. No, not so sure. It would be nice also to know from you what's happening. But we will say maybe during the course of this 1 hour that we stay together, we will have a chance. I just wanted to inform you before we start with our main topic, which is communications today, about my own visit. So I will come to Kenya from 27th of October to 16th or 17th of November. In the first week, I will be in Nairobi, the first 3-4 days, where I would like to meet also with Mukuru and Gasa. And I will send Francis also the whole plan so that we can maybe have a short meeting with you, a tour. I will bring 2 or 3 people. There are 2 colleagues of mine who will be with me. One is from a medical department, and he wants to screen or find opportunities where medical colleagues could maybe support, in terms of online or on-site trainings. In addition, I have a person with me who is from Turkey, a colleague. We are looking into the silk farming business, especially starting from Core Health and Wealth again, where we see a huge opportunity for income generation. There are already contacts that have been done with some national organizations in Kenya. So some meetings will take place, I think, at Core Health and Wealth. Hieronymus, correct me if I'm wrong. Some seedlings were given already of mulberry trees. So these silk farming, in a few words, for those of you who are not so familiar with silk farming, you have to grow worms. Yeah, these worms eat mulberry leaves, tree leaves. And that's why at the moment we look into both, into where do we get the worms from and how does this whole process work, but also, of course, do the mulberry trees grow? Do they grow well? Can maybe Core Health and Wealth also duplicate these mulberry seedlings and become maybe also the distribution bank for Western Kenya? So I think these mulberry trees are already, hopefully growing. And in November, we will have also a meeting in Tongaren with the Ministry of Agriculture, whoever it is exactly, I don't know. But they want to check how things are going, and then they are also giving us the first worm, so we have to build shelters and see how this works. The silk business is a very profit-oriented business, so if it works well, I think we have found a model which maybe we can then also do in other parts. Not so sure at Lake Victoria, probably not. Not sure in Nyeri if the situation, if the geographical landscape is the right one. But then it could be something that more SCN partners could also cultivate, and then we could bring the silk eggs. So these worms, after a while, so they transform in eggs, in silk eggs, let's say. And these silk eggs then is a raw silk that you can take off and sell, of course, or you reproduce something with it. So something we have to look at. So I have also one person with me who is a specialist from Turkey. It's a colleague. You know, in Turkey is also a huge silk farm. And he develops then, so he will meet Core Health and Wealth during this travel and also develop together with you a business plan. The other one, this medical guy I mentioned before, will also offer a 1-hour training on respiratory diseases. So if Mukuru Angasa, by the way, is interested, we could do in that meeting that we have on 27th or 28th or 29th, we could also organize a 1-hour training for the Mukuru community. We are not able at that in this first week I'm not able to travel with this group to Machakos, because it's too time consuming. I might come back in the third week to Nairobi, and then maybe we'll have it where we can go together to Machakos. Yeah, and then I have a person with me also in the first week from Child Fund. It is an international NGO who helps us to set up applications for the German government, getting 100,000 euro for certain topics. So Child Fund now, together with the Core Health and Wealth, is looking for a teenage mothers project, which looks very positive that we get these 100,000 euro, which would help us. And this Child Fund person is a lead of the German Child Organization. We need to do this application that the German government always a German NGO partner who takes the responsibility, who's somehow the in the middle between the local NGO and the international one. It's the first project. Now we have planned 3, 2 with Core Wealth. One is on farming, one is on teenage mothers, and one with Wawa on poultry growth. If this works well, maybe next year then. It's always 2 years projects, but we will still start this week. If it works well, maybe next year we can do more applications, for example, also through positive exposure or Mukuru or even Pendo, some other if we have projects. So we are piloting this here as well, and we'll see how it works. So with these 3 people, I will be the first in Nairobi, visiting Mukuru, Tendo, and also Vico. I will set up a social SCN meeting with an NGO lead soon, because I would like to have Vico also as an additional SCN partner officially integrated into our network. We are doing a lot with them, but officially they are not an SCN partner. So we will visit these 3 NGOs before we go over to Western Kenya. Then on 1st and 2nd of November, I will come with this group also to Core Health and Wealth. And also do a visit at Solasa. And then we will have 2 weeks, leadership weeks again. So 20 managers each who will come for a leadership week. I will be with them partly I will do a trip to Homa Bay to visit our communities and NGOs at Lake Victoria region. And in the second week, so in my 3rd week, the second leadership week, I will in the middle come back to Nairobi and spend another 2-3 days around Nairobi. There is I plan a visit in Tigra, which is probably not so far away from Nyeri, right? Okay. Tigra, is it close to
Thika, it's almost it's not really close. It's around 2 hours.
Okay, but yes. There is from Child Fund, this big organization, international organization. They have a biofarm there, which is very interesting. And they asked me if I'm interested to visit it. It might be great if maybe you could join, or someone of your team, as well as from your team, Irene, to have this visit and to see what they are doing. They are in biofarming, and I think we can learn and maybe also do some relationship connections with them. So I'm waiting at the moment to get the contacts to establish the day, and then I will share it with these 2 NGOs. And it might be also an idea from Core Health and Wealth, by the way, yeah, Hieronymus, if someone comes with me over to Nairobi to visit it. I think this could give us maybe some additional ideas, or at least some good relation. I think it's the biggest biofarm in all Kenya, but we will see. So these are the big things. I hope I have not forgot a lot, but many other things around. Is there anything from your side which we should mention, not mentioned yet? Marceline, you are with us now. I hope you can hear us, but you are mute. Not sure if there is any update from your side. You are mute, yeah? Now you're not mute anymore, but I'm not sure if we can hear you. No? Okay, if it works during this hour, then let us know and share with us what's happening. The next SCN meeting, just to announce and maybe to repeat it, will be by mid of January, where we all come together. We will have also some extra workshops for the ambassadors again. It will take place in Webuye again, and the exact date I will share as soon as we have fixed it. But it will be between 15th and 25th of January, somewhere 2 days at least. Good. Our topic today is communications. And I wanted, just before we start, maybe to hear from you what type of communications you are doing. Do you have any communications plan? Is it more by chance communication? Do you have a communication person in your team? Maybe you can just share this quickly with the group before we come to a few slides. I have prepared 2-3 slides on that. Who wants to start? Communications, how is it done at your location, in your NGO? Hieronymus, do you want to start?
It's okay. As always, I'll start.
Yeah.
So from our from our place, we have different types of communication. So we have communication from co-health to the community. We have communication from co-health and other partners. Then we have communication. Other partners include the government and maybe other NGOs or other institutions that we are working with. So when it comes to the community, it depends on the type of information that we want to pass or the type of information that we want to pick from the community. So for our case, we have departments. We have grouped into different departments, and we have leaders in every department. So, for example, we are doing anything to do agriculture. We have an agriculture team leader who do the communication to the community. Maybe we want to do a gathering or just train the community members about maybe kitchen gardens. So the agriculture team leader will communicate to other volunteers in the agriculture team, and they'll go to the community and relay the information. Again, the team leader can also visit the chief's office. We have the chief there, and the chief will call a baraza. The baraza will include village elders, and he'll pass the information to the chief, and the chief will pass the information direct to the village elders, and the village elders will help relay the information. And now, when the information wants to come to COHEL, they'll come to the team leader or to one of the volunteers in the department, and the volunteer will take the information to the team leader, and the team leader will come and pass the information to, we have a program coordinator who is Peter. Will pass the information to Peter, and Peter will communicate to Cleo, and Cleo will come and address all of us. Now, if we want to communicate to, welcome Bwana Kakai, you are always late.
I'm sorry. Very sorry.
But you are not very late today.
Thank you.
Now, when we want to communicate to our maybe other partners like GASP, I'll not just communicate directly to Kakai. Mostly, Cleophas will communicate to Chrysanthus, and maybe Chrysanthus will allow Kakai and I to have some communications. That is if it relates to work. And if we want to communicate to the government, it's Cleophas who will do that. And if he's busy, he'll delegate it. Like, for example, when we were doing the anti-rabies campaign, he would send me severally to communicate to maybe the chief officer or the veterinary officers and the government officials. Sometimes he will send me. And if it's information among us, when it comes to among us, mostly it's random. When I want to pass information to my colleague, I do it. But if it is official, I talk to the program coordinator who will talk to my colleague and pass the information. It is just simple from our end. It's not that hierarchical, but at least we try to follow some hierarchy.
Is there any map is it written down how communication works and who's doing what? For example, the websites, is there social media communication, the communication, as you mentioned, with the communities? Is this somehow put down, or do you think this is a gap that we have to work on together, maybe?
What we do from our end, we normally have meetings, and it is mentioned in our meetings clearly, openly to everyone, to know that if you want to communicate this thing, you go through this person. And when it comes to, thank you've mentioned about social media pages and the website. Mostly I've been the one doing that, but also Cleophas has been helping from the LinkedIn side and maybe the Instagram and other stuffs. Also, Will Broder has been coming in to help. Also, if a program, if a department leader has something that feels wants to share through the social media pages, comes to me or to Cleophas, and we upload it. So it's not written down, but at least it is communicated, and we have notebooks, and everybody has written down. When we have meetings, you are told when you want to communicate this, go through this and this channel. So it is written from not, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I have seen is a huge development. I think positive exposure had always, even before Making My House came in, already a really nice website, and we're doing a lot of communications. But what I have seen, at least with Core Health and Wealth, GASP, WAWA, is that there was a huge development, let's say, in your communications, at least what I see on the website, what I see in social media. There are a lot of articles, which is fantastic, because I just, for example, get feedback from our colleagues that, oh, we have seen it on the website, we have seen it in the internet, on LinkedIn. This gives us a lot of reputation, yeah, which is fantastic. And probably as it happens within Boehringer, even people outside, other NGOs, governments, and so on, are seeing it. So it's really great. I have seen also, Irene, how is the situation at your end, in Mukuru and Gaza? I think the website, I haven't checked it. Is it working?
Currently, we've been working, restructuring our website. Our developer is still working on it. We've we've added a blog section where we will be updating on our website what we are constantly doing, and we are also working to be updating our newsletters over there so that they can be accessed directly from the website. It's not yet fully up, notification, so that secure and fully operational. But when you can see our information that we're still working on it. So for communication from our end, we usually have internal meetings with the direct ambassadors if we discuss something within the organization. And also we do trainings and workshops. That's like communication from us and our beneficiaries. And after trainings, we try to get performance reviews or feedback sessions to get how the sessions or the. So we do a lot of feedback sessions when we go to an exchange program or when we do a training or workshop. We also post on social media, especially on our LinkedIn. So that donor other and doing. And our other form of communication is definitely the newsletters. We've done the April one, the August newsletter should be, and I think that's how we mainly communicate between us and our donor.
A general question before now we go to everyone. Do you think that the reactions, what you are communicating, are already at a high level, or that there are still opportunities to develop it further? So, for example, do you find sponsors for your website? Do you get new contacts, for example, from the government side? Is this happening somehow? Or is it more, let's say, at the moment, a push communication? So you do things, you share it, you get likes. How would you rate it? How is the communication? Generally,
think,
to all of you, yeah. But Irene,
I think from our end, we get a lot of reactions and interactions, especially from donors and other organizations, especially on our LinkedIn. So I think our communication, social media is very okay, but I still feel like we can also do a lot better, and especially in contact, like how we interact with our government agencies, or let's say like the leadership within or around our the leaders of that's
we have some issues to hear you at the moment, so it's not continuously. Yes, I think I got it. You said LinkedIn is very, very well how it works. This is also my experience, yeah. And you want to reach people, let's say, also who not just like your article, but also who might contribute with something. Then LinkedIn is for sure a very, very good platform. And also what I see at Mukuru Ngasa is all these TV spots, which are working, which is the same also with GASP, where you have a lot of local TV contributions, which of course are fantastic. Whenever such things are done, feel also free to send me the link, because then I can use it as well and distribute it. This is basically very helpful. At Wawa, we are doing at the moment also a short film about the situation. So 2-3 minutes about the challenges and what they are doing. These short films are also very useful. Good. I think with this, I jump, because time is running. I jump a moment into the slides just to raise a few things. And then after the session, we are at the end, we could also discuss if we should do a more professional communications training, maybe, that we could do more module based in the future, but this is something we can definitely see. So what I have put together are definitely some basics here, not NGO related only. I have a lot of stupid things here. So, okay, let me see this one. So basically, I'm sure, but probably you have seen already communication models. There are several ones existing at a high professional level. This is, let's say, one of the basic ones, where you have more a linear and not an interactive communication model, which is a traditional one. Yeah. So normally you have a sender. So the one who shares the information, be it in a written way, be it social media, be it an oral sending message. You use a certain medium. Yeah, the medium could be your language when you talk, of course. Yeah. It could be also the social media channels. It could be a video. You have also a certain code. This code very often is not really clear. It is something that how you communicate, yeah, which is a wording you use. Is it more a distant oriented, very neutral reporting, for example? Is it also, do you work with pictures? Is there an emotional code? How do you talk? How do you address it to the people? Do you ask them questions while you communicate? Do you just give them information and news? Do you do quizzes? Do you stimulate somehow reactions while you do that? Are there, let's say, also kind of requests in your message that they react? So this is a code that we should also think about. Why do we communicate and what do we expect from the receiver? So, and then you have this person of the receiver, which of course is also interesting to think about. Who is the receiver? Because if you communicate to the communities, of course, the whole code messages and what the receiver is doing with it is different from, for example, messaging to find a financial sponsors. Yeah, so we should also think about who are these different receivers, who are the stakeholders. A stakeholder mapping here would be also interesting, and then to prioritize them. I will come back to it a little later. And then, of course, you have your message as one element of the whole communication model. This is the content, and then also the context, how this is and where this is done. Is it, for example, an ongoing message so that you give updates to a certain target group? Is it a one-time message only? Is it a message that comes out of your projects or future projects or out of the past? This is, let's say, the basic 6 elements where, of course, every of those elements is worth to look into in many different ways, and also to do maybe a training on it to raise more awareness. What again I wanted to share with you here is a small overview about different communication channels. Yeah. Basically, you can divide between oral and written communication. I have heard some of you are doing already, or we have talked about it, they are doing already media broadcasts, small TV spots. Not sure if you have ever thought about business letters of communicating and contacting, for example, other companies. What I have heard is that you work with universities, you work with governments, but there might be here also some space for optimization. And of course, mails. Yeah. Not sure if you have, for example, regularly mails that you send out to certain stakeholders again. So what we miss here is we should, for example, understand who would receive these mails, who are the receivers of it. Advertisements, we have not talked about it. I think probably you are not doing it, but as a system changer network, we could think about it. Yeah, so we have not set up any communication besides maybe 1 or 2 articles I have published on LinkedIn about the system changer network as such. This is a topic I would like to discuss with you in our next on-site meeting. How can we really communicate about the SCN altogether, and what could be the different channels to use? And maybe we do also some advertising, and we have to understand why we do it. What is the goal of it? Leaflets. Do you have leaflets, for example, that you share with your communities? Would it make sense? Leaflets, maybe that give also information for the communities, maybe done on certain topics. And then also press releases. Is there any NGO, by the way, who has done a press release here? I think maybe a positive exposure. I can imagine James, maybe that Jane has done some press releases, but I'm not so sure about it.
Yes, positive exposure. We have done even under a group, maybe a conglomerate of persons with disabilities. and yeah, mostly on albinism matters.
Yeah.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and I think what's behind is also having these relationships or building relationships at a very high level and national wide, right? Even international wide even for certain specific days like the Albinism Awareness Day. But there might be some other days, like, for example, the World Farming Day, the World Children Day, and so on, where we could think about when it comes to the system change network and maybe become better. And then, of course, here there is also these other oral communication channels like conferences that, I mean, we have our own System Change Network conference. We would now, end of September, with Valeria Santoro, she's organizing a Light Up Impact conference in Nairobi. I think some of our people in Nairobi, Positive Exposure, Mukurungasa, Kevin, by the way, they have been asked to join and to do a panel discussion on the System Changer Network on this external conference, which is great. So we have some starting point with the System Changer Network, but as a whole, there's still a lot to do. Presentations, I have seen them by all of you. Here also the question is, can we do more of it? I mean, it's a lot of work to do these presentations for a certain topic or for a certain event. Can we use them beyond that? Yeah, while sharing it, for example, or and then to whom? So things we have to discuss and to think about. You have mentioned a lot of meetings you have on your local level, be it with communities, which is, of course, really good, but of course also meetings that go, the system changer meetings, or the exchanges, the meetings of you ambassadors. Also here, maybe meetings between you and Beringer people, meetings between you and social enterprises, and then also the telephone. And the question is, how do we use it? How do we prioritize? Because if you want to do everything, then you need at least 2 people who work full-time just on communications, which is a luxury we don't have. So, but it would be interesting to do a workshop and to see whom do we want to reach and why, and what would be then the nice and the right channels. And this might change also over the time. So, and this would be then a list which I would like to share with you and to ask you to complete it. Just think about whom do you communicate to, or your NGO, and why. And this would be a first overview, or would give us a first idea and overview what maybe we have in common as NGOs, and where maybe we can combine energies. So because without the stakeholder analysis and the prioritization, it is not really strategic. It is more by chance. It is, and maybe this is something also that we could optimize. So this one task today for you would maybe to sit together with the other ambassadors, or just you alone, and just writing it together, maybe a line, or also ask Chris Santos or your NGO leaders, Cleophas or Francis or whoever it is, to think about it, yeah. As a first idea, as a preparation for a possible workshop session during our SCN meeting. Not sure what you think about it. Kakai, you're looking very critical. What's happening?
You know, I'm being remorseful for coming late.
Yeah.
Maybe you have forgiven me for coming in the second time.
The second time, the third time, you have to do a marathon run when I come, eh?
God willing, I'll do that.
Okay, we do it all together, and we will have fun.
Thank you.
No, but yeah, this is what is just some insights. What do you think? Should we follow this up? This type of communications? Should we prepare something for the system changer network on this? Should it become a topic also for our NGO leaders? So from your perspective, or would we maybe just have a look at the communications among you as a group, which is definitely also a point that should maybe be optimized. Maybe we can also write a newsletter together from ambassadors under the SCN logo and then share it, for example, on LinkedIn. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts on it?
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Number one, as I've said, I'm apologizing for my coming in late. Secondly, I want to appreciate this kind of thoughts because, you know, when we put our thoughts together, we put our thoughts down when we communicate, then we put ourselves up there for evaluation, for example, and development. It is only when we are evaluated, that is when we know that we are making a mark. But then, I think it will be better to start with the leaders of the organization, the NGO leaders, starting at our level. Because if, for example, you started at my level, then there is no communication, there is no cooperation from above me, then I will not get anywhere. But once you unlock the leaders and they appreciate and taking this kind of initiative, then it will be easy for us to move. There will be no problem.
Okay.
So,
this is a very valuable contribution, definitely, to make it maybe a topic for the NGO leaders, maybe together with ambassadors during the on-site meeting.
yes.
And to see, what we can do as a group. I mean, I think you know in your NGO already how you do communications. Even there might be opportunities to optimize, but as a group, as a system changer network, we make a big difference if we do it together, and we can maybe also shine more. Because, for example, in my conversations with Child Fund, they agreed to do these applications at the government to get money. Especially because we have this network, not because I have now found one NGO somewhere in the world who wants some money, but because they like this strategic network approach, and also the ambassador model, where skills then which come into the network in one side can really, through the ambassadors, be shared in the whole different NGOs and locations, thus making much bigger and wider impact. So, and also this network analysis that we do, for example, communication about it, high-level projects, how they spread. This is something that attracts a lot of other big NGOs and sponsors. And then this is probably something we have to look in. But maybe some more voices. I'm talking too much here. Some more thoughts about it.
Definitely, before it comes in, I want to say this. In my humble submission, I believe that this forum, for example, the Ambassadors Forum, is the pillar of the SNC. And if we strengthen the ambassador forum, then we should be strengthening the whole issue, the whole point. So therefore, it is my wish and my view at this point in time that we could, for example, come up with a publication whereby members of the social network change make contributions. For example, if we put one in place today, then when you come on the ground, when we physically meet, we can evaluate the point. Even if the leaders have not embraced the issue, but then we tell them, look, this is what we have done, and this is the direction we want to go. Probably that will be an easy way of doing things, of bringing them together. Then we make steps ahead. That is my take.
That's yeah, that's a great idea. And this would be also very nice to have it ready when we have our system changer network in January. Yeah, so that you can present it to them as a group.
Yes.
And highlight yeah, what has happened, but also what maybe you envision and what you see as opportunities of the future.
Yeah.
The question for me is, yeah, first of all, what do the other things about it?
Okay, fine. One, we have to come up with what we are doing. For example, what I'm doing here, that will be my contribution in the publication. Hieronymus will come with his part. Marceline will come with her part. All right. Then we compile the whole thing together, then present it. Two, other than what we are doing, I can also come in with a new idea and present it for discussion.
Exactly.
Now, yes, so that when when people feel that this is a good idea, then we embrace it together.
Yeah.
Three,
yeah.
I would like us to be able to be talking about other people. For example, I should talk. For example, when I visit Hieronymus at his station, there are things I see. Now, when I come and talk about these things in the publication, let him also talk about me, and let me also talk about other people. This is another way of encouraging one another, and then making things known to the other world. Because the way you see things is not the same way I see them. So when I visit a colleague and see things, I report it the way I have seen it. He will help me by making the corrections that we shall be learning together.
Yeah, what do the other think about it? Hieronymus, Kakai, Marceline, Irene. Do you think it's a good idea, this 3 steps Kakai mentioned? I mean, what I could do, I could just ask you the 3 questions, send you the questionnaire, you fill in your thoughts. So we have some basics, and then we can put it together in a PowerPoint presentation, for example. Do you think this is helpful?
Personally, I think you see Kakai, Mzee is old. Comes in with a lot of wisdom and brilliant ideas, and I just support it. It's a good idea.
Okay.
Marceline, unfortunately, we cannot hear you, but maybe I will send you the presentation, the form. You can always also come back and send it to me. So, James, your thoughts?
My thought is this: I think as ambassadors, we need to have like a clear network and integration by learning from each other, and maybe we decide maybe a theme, then we kind of have a publication that is united and release it. Also, I agree. Also, we may come up with maybe like a proposal whereby we have like the way we want it to be presented to the NGO leaders, so that we don't look like we are taking over. Such kind of, and also get their input too, because I believe they also want this SCN to succeed. So I agree this is a good idea, but we also need first to identify maybe if maybe there is the 16 days of human rights. Maybe as SCN ambassadors, we start preparing early for those 16 days, which is coming somewhere November, December. then we have those publications early, or we identify like a day that is maybe something on environment, then all of us, we participate in like coming up with something, or food security. We agree on a subject that all of us, we are able to contribute in different levels and engagement in our communities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
James. Yeah. I think this is, for example, one of those ideas which we could put into the presentation in January. Yeah, maybe a little bit more elaborated, to say we as ambassadors plan a press release, a contribution, whatever it is, for a specific day to share about our activities. And it is not that you do it now to take over the leadership. And so it is not hidden. Yeah, I feel also free to share our thoughts with the leaders right now. But I think you also are really great people. Even if you are not the official leader of the NGO, you are always a leader, and you decide how much leader you are. Yeah, and this is not because of being in competition, in a negative competition, but more as a team. A team is good if you have really strong, even informal leaders who collect ideas, who then make things happen and help. So your main leader to grow, because if the NGO grows and have and if they have a bigger impact, your job is safe. Secondly, you learn a lot, and thirdly, you grow as the NGO is growing. Yeah, and this is how we have to look at it. So my suggestion, Irene, not sure if you also want to contribute something. Marceline, unfortunately, we cannot hear her. Irene, not sure if you can hear us at the moment.
Yeah, I can hear you. I think both ideas are great, and I think for a start we can like go defer Kakai's idea. Then as we go on, now we can be doing publication topics like James has suggested. So I think ideas are great. I love them.
Okay, so then let's put it in action. What I would do is prepare some questions, a questionnaire. Once we have aligned on the questionnaire, I send it out to you, then you can start to fill in. In the last 1-2 minutes, the questions you want to see, can you type them in the chat? So I have just some basic ideas. Just feel free and put them in the chat. So I take them up, even if it's repeating, it does not matter. But maybe for 1 minute, I give you time now. Put 2-3 questions which you think we should ask to collect all this information. You have mentioned already a few, eh?
Yeah.
Niko kwa meeting.
Yeah, maybe we can formulate it in a more positive way, Kakai, but yeah. And I think we have to understand that even myself sometimes, we have still to learn how to work better in teams. Yeah, even we are all trained somehow that once you are the leader, there are certain things you do, but we have not learned how to share it, how to involve others, how really to work in teams, how to bring also this feeling, or even the knowledge, the transport of the knowledge. What is the best way to do it? So I think this is what is behind your words when you say, why don't I feel the SCN? It might be a lack of communication. It might be a kind of very focused leadership. It might be so, and it is good to see that. Definitely, yeah, I will take it up. So we can take, how do we achieve our vision? Yeah, this is definitely something I would do. So Kaka, you had also mentioned before, what are we doing as ambassadors? Yeah. A bit. So it is about now bringing together the questions, which then I will just ordinate and accumulate and send back to you, that you fill in, that we can collect maybe topics on the presentation. For example, the question, what do you do as ambassador, or what have you done as ambassador in the last year? And it's not about now listing all the projects, but more about what have you done, in which way, what were your challenges, where do you see new ideas? These kind of questions I want just to collect a few minutes. However, you also, after this meeting, if you have something that comes to your mind, you can always send it in WhatsApp in our group, and then I take it up. So then we have and I bundle it, I cluster it, and then I send you this questionnaire so that you can fill it out for yourself. And then we collect the information, and out of this, then maybe we can put together the presentation. You can put together the presentation. Maybe we can give responsibilities, share responsibilities a little among the SCN members. So you work then on, based on the feedback we get from everyone, and then we share it. Yeah. Yeah. What is the most important thing within your organization you feel the world should know? Very nice question. Which project interested the people you work with more? Yeah, also very interesting. And why? Maybe you. Mm-hmm. How far have you grown? Yeah. Okay, I think we have already some good questions. I do not want to overstress your time. I think you have other things to do. However, we can continue collecting it on WhatsApp if you want, or you can send it to me personally also if you want. So I just collect now the questions. I cluster them a while, and then in our next meeting, I would say let's do it end of September. Yeah, then we can maybe have a look at it together. Or I prepare the questionnaire. Then we see how far we are, and can also have a look at the first answers you have given. Maybe could be also an idea. Let's see how far we get. So let's keep this communications topic, or this basic presentation topic, which was the result of our lesson today, and work on it in the next 1 hour that we schedule then end of September. Okay?
So fine.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
really fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy, and yeah, we stay in touch, we grow, and we communicate. Thank you. I will send you the invitation soon, also via WhatsApp, so that we have our next session fixed also. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And then I hope to meet you end of October, November, when I'm in Kenya.
Looking forward.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.